Just a Thought, a show that starts with a simple premise and explores how different people view different subjects. The greatest philosophies, the most revolutionary changes, and the greatest inventions. And all of them started with just a thought.
What it do, good people? Always great to be amongst the 810 family and beyond on this Good Friday. We got people in the space. We always want to say good evening, HSPAG 3265. What it do from the 202. Maria Carter, thank you for always joining us and keeping us supported. The VIP room, Flint Caskets, man, what's going on? Hello, everyone. Had a great show. I ain't going nowhere. Good evening, family, supporting from Philly. Oh, man, you our neighbors. What's up, fam? What's going on, brother Elliot? Always a good time when you are in the space. I think that's everybody. Hello. Oh, what's up, Letitia? That's our friend from DC, our sister in advocacy. All right. I think we said hello so far. You know, so much has been going on in DC. I guess I won't skip past our intro. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Just a Thought. I am Yogi G, and my co-host with the most honor is over to my left, maybe your right. And like you've been hearing, well, let's address it. For those who are new to the space and wonder why the 202 is on 810, Mickey and Trevor would say it's because they're nationwide, and I agree with that. But we also say that because what we notice is happening in the 202 is definitely some things that are happening in 810 and beyond. So it's not just happenstance that these things look similar, but we're hoping that as we have a platform to share our story, that you see something that may relate to yours, and we can get on some collective work out here. While people are joining us in the room, I got a little thing I want to get us started off with. Mickey gonna hit us with the letter to 2025.
Dear 2025, you raggedy son of a bitch, you have been one hell of a year. All kind of shit been happening, and I think we need a break. It's like I wake up every day and wonder, how crazy can this shit get? And it surprised me every time. I mean, between a new president, tariffs, the AI battle, constant war, and a bunch of other shit that I'm probably forgetting about, it has not been the easiest. Like, if I had a quarter for every time I said this shit getting crazy this year, I'd probably be in the same tax bracket as Jeff Bezos. Hell, at this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if the aliens came down to see us. That would just be another Tuesday. And this is the kicker. Somehow we're only halfway through this motherfucker. I've accumulated so many gray hairs already, it's a shame. But we're going to have to stay on our toes, because what I'm starting to understand is life doesn't get any easier. We just learn to handle it better. Dear 2025.
Thank you, Nick. And just in case y'all don't know, we got Mr. Spacey Frockett himself in the background helping us on tech support. Y'all send out some good juju for Trevor as he is healing with his back. We want to make sure that we honor the chat. As always, JoJo Freeman, thank you for joining us. Kuwana says, hey, Ana, Yogi, and Trevor and 810 family. Trevor is with us in spirit. Felicia Martinez, hello, and what it do? Georgia boy, always great to see you in the space. And Ana wrapped it up in the chat by saying, hello. I don't want to monopolize the intro. Ana, you got anything to say before we kick it off?
Well, since she put her perspective, I see what's the name. What's my perspective? Let's see what my perspective is. So, of course, hey, y'all, welcome. And like she said, I had a thought, and it came to me. And, of course, I've been connected with 810 News Media from the beginning, and God opened the door, allowed Mickey to say, I'm going to collaborate. And I said, Mickey, well, can I get some time? And Mickey was generous. And so I thought about it, and I said, well, how do I do this? Because I don't want to do the show by myself. So God was good because I met my Aries sister, who I've known for a minute, and I asked her. So this right here is two Aries women from two different generations, and our whole conversations are based on just a thought. It's not concrete on what I believe. It's not concrete on what she believes. But we are working in collaboration, and we love when everyone in the chat works with us. So let's get it started. Go ahead, Yogi.
All right, but let's go ahead and take care of the house rules. In case you don't remember, 810 family, it is $5 Friday. And why we ask, because independent journalism is real. And how we get the news to you untampered is by being able to use platforms such as this and working with Mickey and Trevor. They need things, we need things, make sure that we still get to you. So if you feel it in your heart, go ahead and drop that $5 Friday in the chat, or maybe Mickey put a cash app. Also, we would like for you to share out. Now is your time to make sure that we get all parties involved in this conversation. And don't be shy. We love that you're here in the chat, but we also want to see you in that like button. Replay, gang, gang, gang included. So now that we got that out the way, I know that everybody has heard, or if you haven't heard, you definitely have seen what is happening in the District of Columbia. Not to be confused with the DMV. This is the District of Columbia, aka the nation's capital. And by God, according to the letter of 2025 that we just watched, man, oh man, I'm forever searching my throat for the gray hairs because my hair has been spinning since, according to this timeline I'm drawing, y'all, 8/4/2025. My head is in a rotation of what in the hell are we going through? So with that in mind, I thought I'd just recap with y'all how we got here. And so we're gonna start off. Let me get that the one with the black officer and the white gentleman.
Oh, let me get this. Let me make sure I got you right. That's the second video so you sent me, right?
This should be like a still shot. It's just the second.
Oh, let me go back. Let me go back and find the right one. It's just a still shot. Let me go
I
find
spam Mick today. It's so much happening, so I sent like a lot of stuff to Mick. So y'all gonna have to bear with us.
Yeah, it's a still shot.
Yeah. Let me resend it.
Yeah, because all I got is videos.
Okay. Y'all bear with us 1 second. Uno momento, por favor.
Oh, okay. Now I ain't catch that. You know,
Yeah, DC only told me but so much.
Hey, Winters is in the house.
I got you.
Hey, Winters.
What's up, Winters?
I got you.
Okay. I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this is the beginning point of where we are in Trumptopia takeover in DC. If you can see, not so much about what the caption says, but it is about what the caption says, because we started off because the young man on the right-hand side of my screen is Edward Crossentine, nicknamed Big Balls. Yeah. And he's a former Department of Government Efficiency staffer, aka Doge, who was violently assaulted during an attempted carjacking in Northwest DC. And so that is what Trump is using to spearhead and justify the takeover, the illegal takeover of DC that he is now implementing into a federal takeover. Nikki, can you go to the Donald Trump quote and I'll send it to you.
I got you. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put it up.
All right. Good evening, Linda. You said what's up to Winters. Thank you for being here. I want to get in the wave in the chat.
I think Tara's in the house from DC.
Okay. DC in the building. And y'all don't hesitate. If you are from the city and you got a different perspective or you just want to share, our chat is interactive. All right. I don't know how Mickey can make it so you can see it, but I'm going to read it on my end.
Oh, you made it big. Look.
All right. So y'all president, not mine, said that crime in Washington, D.C. is totally out of control. Local youths and gang members, some only 14, 15, and 16 years old, are randomly attacking, mugging, maiming, and shooting innocent citizens. At the same time, knowing that they will be almost immediately released. They are not afraid of law enforcement because they know nothing ever happens to them, but it's going to happen now. The law in D.C. must be changed to persecute these minors as adults and lock them up for a long time, starting at age 14. The most recent victim was beaten mercilessly by local thugs. Washington, D.C. must be clean, basically safe, clean, and beautiful for all Americans, and importantly for the world to see. If D.C. doesn't get its act together and quickly, we will have no choice but to take federal control of the city and run the city how it should be run and put criminals on notice that they're not going to get away with it anymore. Perhaps it should have been done a long time ago. Then this incredible young man and so many others would not have had to go through the horrors of violent crime. If this continues, I'm going to exert my powers and federalize this city. Make America great again. Now that was from y'all president, not mine, on August 5th. And so if we go into our timeline of what was going on, so the young man got attacked. There was another headline that had came out about egregiousness that had happened that they used to catalyst this takeover in DC. August 5th, that's when Trump publicly threatened the federal takeover. That's the Twitter X that we just talked about. And by August 8th, he didn't even give us no time. By August 8th, our heads were spinning. We had federal agents from 6 or more agencies, including the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, Homeland Security, Metro Transit, ICE agents that were all reassigned to originally operate under our park police. But of course, as we get further into the timeline, we'll see that, some other things went on. I just want to take a moment. Anna, you got anything from that 8-4 on the 8?
Well, let's read what Gladys put. I'm going to put what Gladys wrote. She said, then parents should get control of their own kids and hold them accountable with their butts so the government doesn't have to. So, hey, Gladys, how are you? So there's two thoughts on Gladys's response. Because we had a discussion, Yolanda, when you get back on, you can give your other perspective. The thing is that we are telling our children to get in the house. That's one way of telling our children to get in the house. But the reality is kids are working. Kids are going to and from. Parents are going to and from. So staying in the house like it's the pandemic is not the answer. Now, I do know that in Flint currently, the kids are running back and forth, driving their cars. I was there recently. But we're not having a surge of kids running every single day and doing the things that they're putting on media. I believe the media hypes things. So the other point I would say is that when we say put our kids in the house, it's not always the right answer to teach our kids, because sometimes our kids are doing the right thing. And so we're teaching them to hide who they are for their safety. And the truth is, it's only 2 sets of kids that are being targeted. And that's the unfortunate part. Because DC is just not a predominantly Black. It's not Chocolate City like it used to be. It's not predominantly Black. It's not predominantly brown. It's actually 60% now in the last census, Caucasian. And then we'll go with the other half of other 15% brown and mixed, probably 2%. And then Black, I think, was 30-something%. The numbers might have changed, but that's the last numbers I remember. Quote me wrong, not accurate. I'm not saying exactly. But when we teach our kids, I'm not a fan, honestly, and I love everyone's thought. I'm just saying this is my thought. I'm not a fan of saying our kids should hide. Our kids should have a right to walk to the store, have a right to get on the train, have a right to visit this beautiful city that was beautiful before Agent Orange came. That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, Yogi.
I mean, as also being a parent in this space of having three young black males, it's a mixed bag. You know what I mean? Like, there are a lot. If you educate yourself historically of just how many barriers we've experienced of being able to be successful and thrive as black community and brown community, you realize that a lot of the things that contribute to how parents are showing up, even how our children are show up, are dedicated to some of those issues. So Anna knows that one of my trigger words that had me put out my soapbox real quick is somebody telling us what we should be doing without giving context to what is not happening, what supports are not happening, even though they're in black and white. And I think in this issue, two things could be true at the same time. Do we need to hold our community accountable for speaking up to our youth and creating spaces for everybody to be on the same one band, one sound? Yes. But should it just go blaming on the parents not being up and showing up without having context? Nah, man. Because when you operate like that, they use it against us and they create further divide when we need all hands on deck. Um, that's how I feel about that comment. And let's see what else we got going on because we want to be respectful to the chat. How many parents, this is Philip Johnson, says, how many parents in this country are bangers themselves? There's a lot of circumstances most people aren't aware of because they haven't experienced them. Same thing I just said, man. You can't assume what's happening in the household, especially in black and brown households, and negate how we've been historically marginalized. These kids, Philip said, these kids being the support for them for their health. These kids reading hard. Reading is, and words are even harder. Let me slow down. There's kids being for their whole family. Facts. We got kids out here who, because of the system, listen, if you know about DC, you know about the crack era. And that was around about the 80s. I was born in 82. And so some of us didn't have parents to guide us. Our parents were out here strung out. Some of us, our parents, we were latchkey kids because our parents had to go out there and choose to be at work or be at home. But either way, we know where the time has to go. You got to pay your fare to be in the U.S. of A. That's how capitalism works.
But Yolanda, going back to big balls, because we don't know exactly the conversation that Big Balls had with those two 15-year-old boys. The key thing is that the thing is saying that the kids from DC are running rampant. But the kids that actually got into fight with Big Balls were actually from Hyattsville, Maryland. We're having people from other cities, because remember, we're not a state, that are coming into the city, stealing cars, doing God knows what. And they don't live in DC. And so I feel Agent Orange blew this out of proportion. But the question is, were we there to see the transaction between Big Balls and the two 15-year-olds? If you go to his content and you see how he talks about the federal workers, how he ruined their lives and bragged about it on media, does that say beat him up? No, that's not what I'm saying. But don't use this one situation to dictate how our children feel when they walk home. And the sad part is we have a lot of kids on the spectrum that are actually functioning and can get to and from. And you have a police officer that is not trained on social, emotional, or trauma training, and they're yanking these kids up. I don't know if you saw the video, Yolanda, this week, Yogi G, where you saw this week, where the officer walked up to the boy, touched his private part, young black boy, all over his body, and then asked questions later. He said, "What are you doing?" That's sexual harassment. Where's his parents? Thank God someone was recording it. So we do have some kids that are cutting up, but we also have some great kids in DC. And so I feel we have to be careful when we put them all in one box. Same way I feel. We got to be careful when we say, where are the parents? Go ahead, Yogi G. Sorry.
No, you good. Listen, chat. We only got an hour or so. We might go a little over because this is a huge story to tell. Like I said, this thing been rocking since 8/4 to now 8:15. And when I say all cylinders have been on go, Mickey got so many videos. Like, y'all just gotta ride with us, rock with us, okay? So we're gonna get back to the timeline, then we're gonna honor the chat. So on August 11th. Trump invoked Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. which is a provision allowing the president to federalize the MPD, which is our Metropolitan Police Department, in emergencies for an initial period of up to 30 days. So now this is where it got real, right? At first he was just threatening us and just it was just like, oh man, we got it, because if you listen to the national data, while he was saying these things about DC, they were fact checking him and saying that our data didn't reflect what he was saying. We are not a crime-ridden city. As a matter of fact, let me see. It says that violent crimes was down 26% since 2024. Carjackings plunged 53%. Homicides had dropped and overall crime was at a 30-year low, similar to the results they were seeing in Baltimore. Listen, somebody lying. And we as a community know that we still had existence of crime, but it wasn't and it's not to the extremes that Donald Trump is using to take over the nation's capital. That's the other part. Yes, we're advocating on what's happened to us as the District of Columbia, but don't forget, in the democracy sense, we are the nation's capital, and this is a power play. And I also remind you that on January 6th, we had a whole group of thugs of the clear persuasion who went up in our nation's capital, the actual capital, and acted a fool, wrecked it, had caused bodily harm to our police officers, and now they're telling us that we're so savage in DC that these are things that we need to have to get us back in order and make people feel safe. So we want to get back into some of these videos because we don't want you to take our word for it. We want you to see what the community is saying. So Nikki, I had that video footage that starts with the it's the second one. This says watch out them boys.
Hold on 1 second. You said it was the second video, right?
The one that says watch out them boys out there.
Okay, let me find it.
They're saying some great things in this, but we'll get back to that chat. They're saying some great things. And I love everyone's thought. I'm not pushing my thought. I'm just saying my thought.
Here you go, ladies, and let me back.
Oh God, what the fuck? Oh, they really hopping out. Oh, that shit real. They really coming to your churches and jumping out and bagging your ass, bro. They ain't, oh my God, what the fuck? Oh.
Mickey, you might as well go to the next one.
Okay, I got you. Give me 1 second.
Oh, he has to get out.
Get him! Back off! Oh, man. Back up! Everyone back up! Back up! Get him! Back off! Oh, man. Back up! Everyone back up! Back up!
So, we don't want to completely traumatize on a Friday, but we just wanted to show you how those orders, what it looks like in our community, right? Because if you know DC is the tale of two cities. We have the Black experience, the Native experience, and then we have the transient upper class experience. And I saw in the chat, somebody mentioned, like I said, we're going to go back to the chat, but I saw DuPont Circle and about whether that was a space that people normally don't get mugged. Normally, ideally, no. But sometimes, people got to go where the money resides. They know that people ain't got it like that, so they got to go where the money at. And every now and then, you might have some crime. It is crime. And I will also mention and remind people that we are the District of Columbia, but we are also the DMV for a reason. That means that our metro system can easily connect anybody from Maryland to Virginia in one train stop, one bus stop, and not to mention in our Union Station, we have Amtrak that are bringing people constantly from other cities and states. So, how are you in a space to really pin this on us as the city, given the circumstances of what we're dealing with and the egregiousness of now having over 800 National Guard troops that have been deployed to our space and ICE? Come on, man. Come on.
So there was a list that was given out. I don't know if you saw the Yolanda, and in the list, it named all the neighborhoods where they were going to have their stop and frisk, pretty much. Well, I thought we got rid of this, but we didn't. And so anywhere that there is a predominantly Black neighborhood, they were on that list. And it kind of like shocked me, because not shocked me that they were doing that, but shocked me that out of all the neighborhoods for you to say that you have to go to when crime is all around the city. You can get jacked in Georgetown as well as you can get jacked in Southeast. I lived in Southeast, and I've never had issues when I was in Southeast, but I actually had more issues when I was up in Northwest. But does that mean that each neighborhood is against or more is worse? The reality is, in my thoughts, that certain neighborhoods are being targeted, and that is a concern. How do we get to this point that if our crime levels are low, that we need someone in the White House who should be worrying about the Epstein files? I'm sorry. Worried about his name on the Epstein file, should be worrying about what's going on here. Go ahead, Yogi G.
I think we're going to go ahead and take a pause for the cause because a lot of people have been chiming in the chat. I think.
Oh, Carl's on there.
So Gladys said, I raised my son by myself, but paid my mother to babysit my son, and I kept him in golf and baseball, got him a big brother. It's up to the family. Man, ideally, Gladys, yes, it would be up to the family. For many of our youth here in DC, your community is your family. And when you've been stripped with resources and access to do the work that you need to do to put true boots to the ground, not, as we like to say, shaking babies and kissing hands, me and Trevor, then it puts a strain on how much you can do. You're talking about one ward alone having 86,000 people. We got 8 wards that make up one city. I'll let you do the math on that. She followed up by saying, if you're not involved with your kids, trust me, there's always someone who will teach them. That's true. The streets will pick them up quickly. Mark Hutchison, Mickey, you back there, you can put this up there so the people can read with us. Mark Hutchison, I have been many times to DC Hilton. Look at Mark, look at that. I'm gonna get you, Mickey.
I gotta find which one. You said.
Oh, he was Mark Hutchison. That's what she was reading.
Yeah, it's just so many of them now. You know, I got the first. Okay, hold on, let me find it.
I don't want to mess with Mickey. Mickey might start cutting me up when I ain't got enough time.
No. You got me working hard when I used to work a long time ago like this. Shout out to Tanya.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, wow. Hashtag pay the producer. But, you know.
I know. No, it's all good. It's all good. We love Tanya. We love Tanya. We love her.
All right.
This one right here. There you go.
Yep, that's where we at. It says, Mark Hutchison says, I have been many times to the DC Hilton and DuPont Circle, the richest, most powerful people in the world. Are we sure Bug Bowls got mugged, or did he get beat up by someone he knew at 3 a.m. in DuPont? Hey, man.
That's what I truly believe.
Hey, Mark, let me come a little closer, Mark. We asking the same questions, you know what I mean? Because sometimes up in DuPont Circle, that's where they go to get the, you know, it might be a deal gone bad. We don't know.
Talking about the highest paid strippers walk that strip.
Yeah, well, I go to the latter part of, you know, those who know, they know. I think that the deal went wrong and he paid the
you
price.
have heavy drugs in that area. That's
hidden. Regulation. Let's see. Philip Johnson said crime report and statistics aren't reliable. There's too many things affecting their validity now, and most of it is bias. Now, Philip, let me say this to you, right? If you have been following us, we love people who are new. take a time to go tap into some of our previous shows where we talked about just not that long ago how that our own union, our Metropolitan Police Department union, has a case currently against our administration because there is a former police officer who has been chastised for allegedly tampering data. And this happens to be one of our clear cousins who was working under the direction of a melanated brother. And it has now turned into such a big thing that our own MPD union has put out a statement too. Everybody got a Canva account. Statements everywhere. And so our MPD union said, listen, they've been tampering with this data. That's not the truth. Crime is not low in DC, and we support having the extremities that we're dealing with now. Want to finish this up?
Oh, you went to me, Yogi? But my question, even if you say they're messing with the numbers, right? Didn't they just block us from $1.3 billion? Didn't they chop up our budget and took away from our schools, took away from our out of school time? Shoot, they took our P cards. We couldn't do any extra things for our students, which would have kept them safe and off the street, let alone SYEP was affected by it. Did they really get all the kids to get the summer youth employment program that Marion Barry started? So we got to look at that. We got to look about what is it now? 25,000 people might not have Medicaid going on. On top of that, you have parents that were laid off, federal workers like crazy in DC. Even contractors, not just federal workers, contractors were laid off. As soon as he came in, he ripped the jobs. What has the mayor been saying? I need people to come back to work, right? Okay, you want to take virtual away, people come back to work. So she was like, yeah, people are coming back. But guess what? They came back just to get fired. And no one is buying anything. No one is downtown eating. Chinatown don't look like Chinatown no more. And there's nothing to do. Now, are we going to say that we don't need help with our youth? Yes. But give us our money, Yogi G. Stop taking our money. Stop taking our resources.
I have an unpopular opinion about the fact that we lost that amount of money out of our federal budget, but found it for a stadium that's up and coming in 2030. In 2030, never. So, I think we're not prioritizing as a city before we even got down to this whole Agent Orange shenanigans. John Cooley, I see you in the comments. It says the YNs in DC still causing DC and Maryland, rarely in VA though. I've been here since 1971 and a former football coach in DC. I'm not here to say your perspective is not shared. We know that our youth, no different than any other city or state, and certainly our good people with Flint could attest to that. All of our youth citywide are going through some form of rebellion. And once again, if you do your research and do your context historically, you can make some connections on your own as to why we got here, how we got here, and what the root cause is. All right, let's get back to some of this video footage because, like I said, I don't want you to take our word for it. We want you to see it for yourself. So what we know is around 8:12, 8:13 is when we start seeing the marching of the troops. Go ahead, hit it, Mickey.
Friday night too.
I just like to let y'all know I'm not a professional editor. Yeah. I just like to let y'all know I'm not a professional editor, but I did my best so that y'all can have a visual. So that was when they first got in, the National Guard being them. And oh yeah, right. Yeah. Let me go ahead and give a shout out to Andrea who hit us with a $10 to support us shining the light on DC. Let us not forget we do appreciate the donations. So, should you so feel moved, please do. But yeah, that's a little highlight. And so with the National Guard coming on, we are a very diverse city and everybody has their place. Stanley Wood said, are the troops actually arresting or detaining people? No. Stanley, right now they're protecting places like the Stadium Armory. They have been utilized at our Union Station, where we have most of our people coming in from different cities and states. You know, any place that they really got to protect the bag at, that's where the National Guard has been at. They have yet to actually be in our neighborhoods. They have used the FBI, ATF, Homeland Security, Metro Transit, and a few other agencies that I'm probably forgetting, ICE, to create checkpoints throughout our areas in the city, meaning like heavily Black and brown areas, to do most of their work and walking through our, like Mickey said, and I showed y'all earlier, they're popping up in our neighborhoods and doing checks. Another part of it is that a lot of our people don't know the law the way that would be helpful in this space. So right now, as a community, we're spending most of our time educating our youth and others about what is legal and what's not legal. For instance, DC has legalized the use of marijuana, and you can have at least, I think it's 2 grams, maybe more, on your person. As long as you are not, as long as you don't go over there, you can't be charged. Now that the federales have gotten involved, it is now a federal offense if you are standing outside. Doesn't matter if it's on your front porch or your grandma's front porch. They got probable cause to come in, and they have been arresting people. So far, 100 people have been arrested. A majority of them have been Black males, and the count is going up.
And not just so-called criminals, just like Kawana. If you saw in the chat what Kawana said, I don't know if you're bringing that up. Kawana said also being poor. They are locking people for being poor.
Mickey, behind that was the one that says a man confronted National Guard. I just want to show people how our city.
1 second, let me get that. You said it's the one behind that one, right?
Right, with the National Guard marching in, and then it's
okay.
Confronting the National Guard.
It was a man confronting the National Guard. I gotta find that one.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, while Mickey is finding it, with the National Guard, we have, like I said, DC is very diverse, and we have a lot of voices and a lot of opinions. And in this place, I don't know if y'all caught the memo. Some of us Black people said we're gonna sit this one out and see what it do for our other peoples, to stand up and stand with your chest and say how you want to see democracy come back. And so this is an example, if Mickey can find it, of what that looks like in DC. Our clear cousins ain't just sitting back and taking it. They are just as disturbed as our city is there taking over too. Let's see. I guess we get to these comments. So
is it the one where the dude is getting, not to cut you off, is it the one the dude getting arrested when he's standing at in his apartment?
No, it literally says a man confronted National Guard troops.
Hold on, let me go back and see that. You said a man confronted. Okay. Hold on, let me see. It's this one.
Mickey said, "I got him working overtime."
Yeah, you know what? Resend it to me because I don't see where it said man confronted.
All right.
And I went through the whole list. I don't see that one. I'm going through that.
Well, Mickey was telling you we had to resend everything.
Right. No,
I'm not with you, Mickey.
Yeah, I didn't learn from my previous gig.
So Mark Hutchinson said National Guard police in cities is a precursor to a riot. They always go too far. Do you think that is the goal? Are they inciting a riot? Mark Hutchinson, I believe that is what the goal is, to agitate the community so bad that they get a violent response to justify what they want to do moving forward. But this is the video of one of our white peers, our clear cousins, saying it with his chest.
When you're fucked up, you have to go to the VA, and they cut all the These are your own fucking citizens. These are homeless people. You guys are fucking crook. Don't let them do this to you. It's abuse listen to you, and now you're gonna pay funds when you're fucked up and you have to go to the VA and they cut all your services. Refuse now. Do not do this. You have an obligation to refuse unlawful orders. Okay?
Hey man, you got to remind the people about what's right and wrong.
But when you're
So that was the bus of the rest of the National Guard that were riding alongside, and some of the Army tanks or the equipment or whatever you want to say, they using, and it just goes to show you everybody is upset. Everybody is upset. So I see Gladys is on it. She said you can't throw Subway sandwich and think you're not going to get chased down. So Gladys, we got one for you. Gladys is talking about our newest vigilant soldier on the internet. One of our clear cousins who decided to use his bare minimum to say that he was not down with the fascists. Nikki, I just sent it to you.
Not the sandwich incident, right?
Yeah.
I already had that up.
Right. Oh, you already showed that?
I got it. I've just been back here watching it. That's why I'm about to play it now.
Now listen, I don't know what happened to the audio, but that was the slowest chase I ever watched in my lifetime. When I say them penny loafers was on go and smoke, that man got up out of there, but he said what he had to say. But what happened in the audio is that he felt some type of way. Now, granted, my man was inebriated, but what he said before y'all saw that infamous sandwich get hurled off into the chest of that police officer was, "You fascists, get out of my city," something like that. But I want you to know that your Trump president is an equal opportunist, because right after that he was arrested and they used him as a tool to say, "Look what we did." You got that one queued up, Mickey?
Yeah, you talk about this one right here. I'm already ready.
No, that's the one where they talking to the youngins in the neighborhood.
Okay, you wanted this different one.
Yeah. It's the one right after that where you see the split screen. It's white, and then you see the officers coming in to get him like he Gestapo.
He said Gestapo.
There's a split screen. Hold on.
Yeah.
What she saying? He worked for the department. He was just fired. Oh.
Yeah, he did. He got fired because he worked for the Department of Justice.
Hey, well, send that one back to me because I'm back here looking for this one right now.
All right.
You'll get hired somewhere else, believe me.
I mean, that's the perk. I don't know. I need more context for that. Oh, that's Mark Hutchinson. That wasn't for me. That was them talking amongst themselves. Excuse me, being nosy.
Oh, hold on. I ain't show this one. I got you. I think I put this one up. I got you. Hold on. Let me put this in and take myself down.
No training, just aggression. That's right. So I think we might not have the audio on this one because we want to make sure we're safe and we don't get pinged. But this is ultimately what the White House has used to kind of highlight the arrest that they made. And because it was a clear cousin of ours who did something so egregious, they had to make a big spectacle of it. I mean, listen, that man in that pink polo and the penny loafers just seemed dangerous to me. He didn't peg me as a person that was going to be needing all that kind of aggression that was going through it. But That's one element of what we've been going through as far as DC. So, like, if that wasn't enough, now we got the federales and the ATF and every other acronym in our judicial system running around in the city over policing. He also decided that he wanted to start his assault on homelessness. And a part of that was that he wanted to make the city beautiful again. He announced aggressive actions, including removal of homeless encampments, on top of our juvenile crime reform, where I said, he said, you spit, we hit. So I started reading the chat. When you're fighting for a case of water a day, you can get mad fast. They tried to grab me up by sheriff's department, and the Flint police saved me. The guard and sheriff worked together. Yeah, if y'all not familiar with what's happening in Flint, they lied and said the water crisis was fixed. And definitely we're learning from our family up here on 810 that is not the case. And if you get a chance, you can talk into the morning bump so you can hear more about some of the corruption, a lot of the corruption that's happening there and keeping the community from really getting to the resources that were supposed to be set aside for them. But Anna, you want to kind of give a prelude to the whole homeless encampment clearing?
Well, I wish I would have put my video up, but to tell you the truth, I'm laughing, I'm giggling, but we live in it. We are really living it. And I hear people saying you got crime, but when you see, and it hurts, when you see officials and military driving down, I can't even talk right, in your community, scaring our children, scaring people, and not just black and brown people, white people are feeling it too. So this ain't just the black and brown people. And you're asking, what is the need for this? There's no need for it. If you stop taking our resources, I'm sorry, we will have this. But the unfortunate part, it gets even worse. When you start locking people up for being homeless, when DC is a right to shelter city, not even a state. And you look how long people from Utah, from Wisconsin, from Oregon come all the way to the nation's capital as veterans, as disabled veterans, and sleep on our streets because they want to come and talk to their senators and their Congress that they are homeless and they don't have any money. And they're living on the lawns of First Street Northwest. They're living on the Laws DuPont Circle, and they've been there. But to and we had it on our show, but to sit there and say, as a president who has taken our money, has not given back our money and our resources, to tell people you could just get up and go to a shelter. What shelter? Yolanda, please tell me what shelter you can go to. The shelters closed down after the pandemic. That was a little bit of money we got, thank God, for the Biden administration. No, I'm not a registered Democrat. I'm actually a registered Republican, but I didn't vote for no crazy Trump. And the sad part is that we're sitting here normalizing, putting bulldozers, picking up people. And guess what? The most homeless population that's out in the street in these areas are white people. So when you start looking at the videos, these are people that had jobs, they were veterans, mental health coming back from war, and it didn't help them. And they come from all different states because DC is supposed to be right to shelter. But imagine the people that been here, how you're always pushed back. Always pushed back. That's why we had a problem with immigration in DC. That's why we were fighting. But then when we seen what they were doing, we were like, well, that's not right either. When you saw Sweden, Ireland, Ukraine coming in and getting housing immediately, when you had black men that been sitting in shelters, well, I used to run the shelter, who worked and could not get supportive housing. And you had someone who came from out the country, got housed. It was done by design to have us fighting with each other. And we still argue with this. But this right here, I'm sorry, Yolanda, this is a little different. Because right now, when we go outside, even last night when I got home, ICE was parked across the street, because I live in an area close to downtown Chinatown, and it's an area where a lot of nonprofits are, Catholic charities, and so a lot of the homeless go to Catholic charities to get clothing, food, and so they walk up from New York Avenue and they come down. I live in a city area, Hanover area, very historical neighborhood, and they're just taking people. And I saw it last night. What is your justification? I don't know about you, Yolanda. I think modern day slavery is what's happening.
Let me say this. I think I've said this on a public platform. Or if not, if you follow me on my Instagram or follow me on my Facebook, I definitely am very vocal and transparent about my journey as being a DC native, number one, and also being a single parent. That's not the normal narrative that they give to what the face of homelessness looks like. I am what you consider, my family and I, to be house homeless. I am definitely not on any kind of drugs. I'm now out here stealing and killing. I have been a pillar in my community. I have been on the advocacy front. It's a lot of people in this chat that can advocate, who can attest to just how front and center and dedicated I am to change for my community and my city. But definitely when I have gone through the chains and the orders that they have told us as being residents of the District of Columbia on how we can become sustainable, that system is broken and is flawed. I have said several times before, to Ana's point, that when we were getting bus migrants into our city from Florida and Texas, and they were being dropped off to Kamala Harris's front porch, they dropped them right off to the responsibility of the District of Columbia, who were already having a tight budget to deal with their own residents. And what they did to adhere to making sure that we were still honoring us being a sanctuary city was they cleared out what we would like to call our own version of Skid Row, which is on New York Avenue in between Florida, where we had a lot of unhoused families. And they swept them into our rapid rehousing program, gave them access to housing. But when they depleted the funding because they were spreading it amongst like the migrants and the immigrants that came into the city, all of a sudden, 2,265 families that are documented through rapid rehousing now are back in a space where they're looking at being homeless. Because to Ana's point, we don't have shelters that are built to take in families like that. We barely have safe shelters for single adults to be in. And this had nothing to do completely with Donald Trump. This was just us as a city. And decisions that we were making on who we prioritize gets attention and gets access. And if you're not in a certain tax bracket, you're not connected to somebody that knows somebody, you best believe that you were considered as being casualties of war. So I just want to give a face outside of my own and give space to a wonderful woman who spoke about her journey in this and how she feels, but by now being deemed as being somebody that's an untouchable. If you know about the caste system, you know that term well, you're untouchable and nobody's supposed to care about you. And the only options that Donald Trump and his cronies have given these people that can't help where they are in life is to either go to jail, go to the mental hospital, or you can kick rocks. And you can say that any way you want. Mickey, I just said that to you.
That's what I was going to ask you. I got it up. I was asking, was you ready? All right,
Yep.
Just want to just throw us to the rats. Give us a home. How about that? How about just giving people that need a home inside? Then we'd be inside. You never know why a person is homeless. I was rendered homeless for sure because my house was caught on fire. A couple of them, Red Cross put me in a hotel for 14 days, and they gave me a stipend, but they were overextended because that night, 3 other houses caught on fire.
So where do you currently live now?
Woodridge, I hate to say it, Woodridge Library on a park, on a bench, a little outside of it, so I won't be too close. And that's where I feel comfortable because it's really quiet at night, and nobody really sees me or bothers because it's just me and him. I don't want to be homeless. I don't want to crowd anyone. I don't want to use anyone. I just want to be in a place to live. Now I work here at Street Sense. I could make better income if not my health was well, but it's not that I'm totally broke right now. But it's better to have money and be homeless than be broke and be homeless. You know what I mean? So I can't scoff at my money, but I'd rather have a house and have money too.
Listen, man. In this 2025, we all need empathy and grace. The experiences that you not living and you privileged to not have to sit and beg nobody for you to be able to eat or even have something to drink is a privilege. And when you see people out here, don't make their stories up for them. You can have a conversation if you're really that concerned about it. But when it comes to a city that's giving resources to their people so that we won't have this narrative about us being a dusty, dirty city, I saw in the comments says they should have a separate budget for that. And our sister in DC, Andrea, already answered it. It is a separate budget, but they keep reallocating the money to other projects. Ergo, we got money for RFK Stadium. Okay. And I see the time. Y'all might have to kick it with us with a little bit,
So, Mickey, before we close out, put that when me and Yolanda say peace. Can you put my last video on?
I just want before we do that, I just want to say this one other thing, right? Because we're gonna continue this conversation. Because, like I said, this just been since we didn't even get a chance to even tap into what came in today. From our attorney general happened to file a lawsuit against against Donald Trump and his cronies to really have them secure us in saying that we have autonomy still even under this 30-day federal takeover to be able to at least run our MPD police, which are now just kind of following orders, and everybody is miscommunicating in here. It's a dangerous times. And while people might be mad about how we got here, we're here. Okay? And so what we need is more love, more teaching, less preaching, and let's get in one accord, because what we can't be mistaken about is that this is definitely us versus them in a different kind of way. This is money versus not having money, the have versus the have-nots. We got a lot of convoluted players in the game. And when I say us versus us, see the melanin on my skin and know that's what I'm talking about. So we got to be diligent about who's giving us messaging and leading us. And also for those who are not in the District of Columbia, but have some opinions, or if you want to help out, there are ways to do that too. And like I said, we'll get into that next time to help everybody understand. There's a great organization called Free DC, and it's called the Free DC Project. They're doing a lot of organizing and helping out community members to understand what their rights are. They're acting as deterrents for a lot of the ICE agents that are snatching up some of our migrant peers. And there are a lot of other things. And then also, not to get on Yolanda's rant or Yogi's rant, right? Man, don't sit back and talk about, man, I'm glad it's not happening here. Because if you think they're not coming for you, you need to check the national news. This is not just happening in DC. Right now, there are people in LA that are fighting National Guards because they're in there. There are people that are fighting in Portland, Oregon right now against our own military and police. We got people in Cincinnati who are now having KKK flyers that are being spread across Black communities. So we starting that back up. We got our brothers and sisters in New York that are going through ICE raids on the daily. They're taking food off of the streets for the people and putting them in trucks and incinerating it. It's not a game. We can sit back and we can laugh and joke about it, but what are you going to do to prepare your people and your community for war? Go ahead, Ana.
So Mickey can't play my video because of the music. So I'm going to read, I'm going to read my poem. They say if you're not breaking the law, why worry when the sirens hum? But the streets know better. The streets have long memories. This isn't just beat the cop, nodding at the corner store, or the patrol that rolls slow past kids chalking hopscotch squares. Now the sky feels heavier, uniforms and shades not meant for neighborhood handshake badges flown in from somewhere else, order signed behind closed doors, executive ink spilled, and suddenly our police aren't our jurisdiction. Is a borrowed word, authority a stranger's voice on a borrowed radio, helicopters trade lullabies for suspicion, unmarked vans hold questions nobody gets to ask. The laws are the same on paper, but the eyes enforcing them look past you, through you, as if you are only potential. They say if you're clean, you are safe. But safety is more than innocence. It is belonging. It is what's taken over our streets. Doesn't belong to us. So we keep walking, heads high, hearts worried, counting shadows that used to be neighbors and wondering when home stopped feeling like home. That's all I have to say.
I'm gonna take a page out of Brother Elliot's book, and I'm gonna charge the chat to do some homework over the weekend. I know that we've been through a lot. I know it's a Friday.
Yogi, you froze up.
I did.
Hey, say it again. Yeah, you froze up. Yeah, you go ahead and do it now.
There's a new rule, a new law that they are working on in Congress. Remember, you gotta keep your head on the swivel. There's a lot of things happening at one time. They are now talking about making it mandatory for you to utilize platforms like this and YouTube. And in order for you to use it, you have to put your ID in it. They're housing under protecting the youth from being exposed to content that they don't have no business being on. But what really is happening is that that's a way for them to track you so that they can start pinning the content that we're placing out into the community and coming to get you. Don't take my word for it. Do your research. So that means platforms like A10 News Media Group, cherish us while we're here to tell you the truth. Mickey and Wentz, Brother Elliot, while we're here to tell you the truth because they're working on a plan on making sure that we can't reach out to each other like this. So while you know that, get to know your neighbor. Start talking about what's the emergency plan, how y'all can start building resources. Do something with your time, man. That's all I want to just encourage people to do until next time. We make it to Friday. We'll be here again at 7 p.m. Mr. Spacey Property, you got something to say?
I was gonna say whenever you and Ana got something, y'all gotta put something out. Just let me know. You know, me and Trevor gonna go ahead because people do need to know what's going on in DC. Because, like what I watch different people's shows. They didn't build in these jails for nothing. They're gonna start housing people. Then with that letter that you seen with Trump, they want to lock people up at 14. I didn't know that was the guy from Doves that did this. It just reminded me back to Willie Horton back in the day when they used that as a black man that got out with the Republicans. They used that to push their crime bill, and it's like this is what we finna do again.
You absolutely right.
Different year.
I didn't even get a chance to send you the video about 1919 when they had did the same thing to DC and they had the militia coming in and flooding our neighborhoods and drawing out the blacks. And it happened again during civil rights time after Martin Luther King died. They came for our communities again and tried to blame it on us and imploding on our own neighborhoods. So all of this stuff just comes into replay. All right, before we say bye, let's hit this chat.
Red Summer, B put Red Summer, yes.
Yeah. Paul Lewis said, right, sister, this shit is real. Yes, it is more real than I like to. I got more grades than I need, and I'm only 43. What Trump is doing, Sister Sherry Allen, shout out to you, says, what Trump is doing to DC is the beginning of ordering martial law on the country. Listen, we are the nation's capital, and it means something. When we say we DC natives, that means that we are on the front line of whatever is going to happen for the rest of the cities out here. And how we move and how we make it determines it. So I hope it never moves to that. But it is looking a lot like we're moving into martial law. Winter says, do a weekend special one night. You got that right. We're going to make sure we get Trevor or Mickey the stuff early, Winters, because there's a lot happening. Raphael Bird says, jails make money. This we know. And you think about that alligator Alcatraz they just built in Florida. Man, that thing was flooding. before Trump even stepped off of it. So they basically
For Hurricane Point 2.
They building a water cage for to go die and drown in the cage. Red Summer, Trump's plan to use black and brown people on the farms. Man, Sherry Allen, listen, I was on the farm once. I didn't like it. And I don't think they like me trying to work a farm. I'm scared for that. Somebody doesn't want folks to see that last video. The buffers just started. I know, right? That's why we got to do a weekend special. So that we can just keep y'all updated. And we really appreciate y'all giving us the time to bringing back the chain gangs. Yep. I shared it with Big Balls this morning from those that thieves about personal documents. Man, Big Balls got some explaining to do, but right now he got all the empathy across the world. He's in a safe space. But we appreciate y'all giving us the opportunity to let y'all know the real deal about DC. Like we said in the beginning, this is just our thoughts, and we just sharing with you a lot of things that we're exposed to, and we're gonna keep doing what we gotta do to make sure that our youth are safe. Like Andrea said, you know, we our kids are going to school next week. And Anna and I and some of the other mothers that we have in the chat got to figure out how we gonna get our kids to school, because it is our right. It is our right and our duty, or CFSA gonna come get us, to figure out how we gonna get these kids safely back and forth, and who's gonna help us make sure that they don't get snatched up by ICE, or they get antagonized by ATF or somebody else is feeling trigger happy. We are in a time, Maria Carter said, we are in a time where we need to rally with these kids and make some changes within the neighborhoods. We got some great people that are working on that, and maybe we will get a little weekend special going so we can start highlighting the people out there, man. Y'all be kind to each other, all right? Y'all make sure y'all get in contact with y'all neighbors. Y'all figure out some things on how y'all can organize offline. Don't get caught up in the rigmarole because they try to keep us distracted. And make sure you love on somebody for the weekend and get your mind right. And we gonna let y'all go.
Peace, ladies. Well, y'all hold on. I'm finna end the show though.
Bet.